Okay, sorry about that. Someone called me and it totally cut me off. All right. So, again, number one, no clear direction. So, you don't really know where it is you're exactly trying to go. You know what you want, right? But you don't really know how to get there, and you don't have any real clear direction. And you could try this thing, but oh, you're not so sure. And you could try that thing, but would anybody support you? Would they buy into it? You could go this route. You could go to school for this. You could go to school for that. I mean, you could go 1,001 different ways is what you're thinking. You could do this, or you could do that, or maybe I should do this. And you'll even try a lot of different things, right? If you're bold enough, you might even try a lot of different things. And nothing seems to be it. And you just don't really know where to go and how to get out of this place. You might feel at the same time, with no clear direction, you might feel a sense of being just kind of stuck. Kind of just like maybe you're swimming against the current. You don't really know. You're trying to go forward, but maybe you're going forward in the wrong direction, and that's why it feels like you're going against this current, right? But you kind of feel stuck, like you're trying to progress, but you can't really progress, and you're not really regressing, but guess what? You're not growing, right? So you're just in this place of uncertainty, no clear direction. So that's one of the signs. Another one, wondering what your purpose is, what you should be doing. The good thing about this is that if you're wondering what your purpose is, if you're wondering what you should be doing at this point in your life, if you're wondering, how can I help? What can I do? How can I get out of this rut? How can I get out of this place that I'm in? How can I get unstuck? The beauty of this is that you're asking the right questions. So even though this is a place, these are things this is something that identifies that you might still be wandering in the wilderness, it is a beautiful thing. Those are great questions to be asking. Now, my question would be, who are you asking? Because if you're just asking yourself, well, stop. I mean, ask yourself, but where are you really going to go after you get done asking yourself, right? Because, again, you don't have any clear direction. So you could ask other people, but, I mean, like, do they know you really? Like, can they really help you determine where you should be going? Bless their hearts, because they'll try, especially if you got good, solid people around you, positive people around you. They will try to lift you up and encourage you to go the way that you want to go. Thing is you don't even really know which way you want to go. So if you change scenery, if you say, well, I think I want to go to school for this, and you got those encouraging people, they're like, oh yeah, you should do it. And then you change up. And then you say, you know what? I think I want to take up this trade. And they're like, oh yeah, go do it. You know what I mean? So it's like, they're good people. They love you. But essentially they could be, kind of just, I guess, enabling this path that you're on with no direction, right? So you can't ask them. So who are you asking? And that's something that you need to think about. But you were definitely asking great questions. So yes, if you are in the wilderness, you're wandering there and you're asking these questions, then you're onto something. Okay, number 3, nothing or very little satisfies you. You're always searching for the next best thing. And I think this goes for a number of things. I think this goes for, in your relationships, in your friendships, in your job search is. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, in your job, if you are, doing one thing and then you're like, oh, I want to do something totally different, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. I mean, either way, you're never really satisfied. You try something and then you lose momentum and you get discouraged, and you know what? That wasn't really for me, right? But the reality is that was just another thing you were trying because you don't have any direction. So nothing or very little is satisfying you. You're just in this place of unrest. You're like, what am I doing? What can I do? You know what I mean? It's just this place where, you could be happy for a moment. You could be out with friends and you think that's what you want, but at the same time, like, you're not even satisfied with that. You're not. Another thing, number 4, is you still have unresolved emotional baggage or issues. So, again, God wants you in the promised land that he has for you, but he wants it so that you can be able to flow and manage what he wants to give you. First of all, let me just explain something to you. Your mind can't even conceive all that God has for you. As a matter of fact, if you're still wandering in the desert, a lot of times he won't even tell you what it is that he's called you to do until he gets you prepared or gets you to a place where you can receive it. Because again, you're coming from a place of all these old cultures, these old ways that you built up, and your image on the inside is not the image that God has of you, right? It's a lesser image. And so sometimes you can be in this lesser image and you don't think that you are worthy of a particular lifestyle. You don't think that you are capable of doing something great. You don't think that you have what it takes to do something great. You think very low of yourself, maybe an inferiority complex, right? Then these are different things, but maybe you have this inferiority complex where you think that you are, and sometimes you don't even know it. Sometimes it's so embedded back here in the back of your mind and in your heart that you don't even realize that it's there. You can't get past certain things, and so you can't see what it is. You can't even, if God came down and told you right then and there that I want you are a billionaire. If you're not totally prepared to receive that, you are not going to receive that. If your image, the image that you have of yourself inside, is not the image that God has of you, you are not going to be able to receive that. And so, like I said, a lot of times he wants to get you to a certain point first in that wilderness period, and then he'll drop that on you like, hey, this is what I've called you to do. And again, when he drops it on you, it's going to look big and amazing to you, right? But it is nothing compared to how it's actually going to be. Like, you're seeing it when he shows it to you, you'll be seeing it in black and white. And then as it starts to unfold and manifest and you start creating it and it starts just kind of flowing out of you and you start bringing it all forth, it's going to be like you're watching HD color television on a big old smart TV with really sharp images. Just a whole different experience, okay? So anyway, he does not want to take you there with those unresolved issues. If you have unresolved issues inside, again, like with your image, if you have unresolved issues with people, if you have mother or father issues, if you have issues and feelings of abandonment, if you have all of this fear in you, all of this doubt in you, again, inferiority complexes, superiority complexes, right? Like a lot of insecurity. If you deal with jealousy, all of these different things, you can't go into the promised land with that. Because, no, let's not even go to pride. Pride, you cannot walk into your promised land with any of those things, and especially not pride. And so he wants to get that out of your heart and out of your life too, right? So when you get to this place that he prepared for you, it's like you need to be this new person. You need to be who you actually are supposed to be. Not this person that you are that has been shaped by the world, which, whatever, that's a whole nother conversation. So he wants to take you there, but he got to get all that unresolved conflict. He got to clear out your heart, give you a new heart. He got to just empty you out of all that old stuff and put some new stuff in you, some good stuff. And what he's doing is he's beautifying you. And ladies, this is something that you could certainly appreciate. Fellas, you can appreciate this too, but like we women and we like to be beautified. I mean, just the word beautified is just a beautiful word. So anyway, he wants to beautify you, right? So he wants to clean up your insides, clean up your insides to a point where his love radiates from the inside out. You know how like somebody would say this person is, she's pretty on the outside, but her insides is ugly. But she's ugly because her character is bad, or, she has a nasty attitude, or whatever the case may be. But God doesn't start from the outside in. He starts from the inside out, and that's where the beauty comes from. That's where, if you're a guy, that's where your strength comes from. Your just confidence comes from, right? And so for women, that's where your beauty comes from. It comes from the inside. Your strength comes from the inside, and it radiates out of you. And that's what God wants to do. He wants to build you up from the inside to where you just flow. Let me tell you, when he first called me, I started going through my process. I kid you not, I lost an additional 20 pounds. My skin cleared up. It was like, yeah, I was 33, but it was like he gave me 10 years back on my life, and I still believe it to this day, and nobody can tell me that he didn't. So really, I was 33, but I was actually 23. And that was just the beginning. He hadn't even actually done all the work yet on me. So anyways, saying that to say that when you have a lot of conflict around you, in you, with people, with yourself, if you are still feeling like you've been victimized, if you are still feeling like people have hurt you, if you still have this resentment in you, like you can't forgive the people who hurt you, you need to get healed before God can take you there. And that's what he wants to do. He wants to help you to unpack all that baggage and heal you so that you can be a good representation, a beautiful person, and he can take you where it is that he's planned for you to be. Okay? So those are just some of the signs to know, like you might still be in the wilderness. Now, how to get in alignment, how to get back on track, how to get focused, how to get to that place. Okay, I just want to just put this one disclaimer out there and let you know that, it's not going to be easy. Okay, because you're going to be fighting with yourself. You're going to have to face yourself. You're going to have to face the unresolved issues. You're going to have to God's going to show you some things about you that you might not like. It might not be beautiful. It might be hard to see. It might be hard to witness. It might be hard to deal with. It might bring up some old unresolved feelings. It might bring up a lot of different things, right? Old hurts, old situations that maybe you went through in your past that still hurt you or haunt you to this day. He's going to make you face yourself, but he's not going to make you do it alone. He's going to be right there with you, okay? So just wanted to make sure I let you know that it's not going to be easy. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. And so, I think if you walk into this with that understanding, then you can just get rid of any expectations of, how long is this going to last? How long am I going to stay here? When can I get out of here? And you know what I mean? It's just, I don't want you to make it harder on yourself, and I don't want you to continue to extend your wilderness period or your preparation period, whichever word you prefer to use. So how to get in alignment? Number one, remove distractions. So when I was going through my process, I had to eliminate distractions. Literally, I had to ditch social media. I had to step back away from friendships, and nothing against those people, nothing against them, but it was a sacrifice I had to make. I was too open. I was too vulnerable. I was going through it. He was making me see all these things about myself, about my past. I was having to face myself, and I couldn't tolerate anything negative and any other opinions, any other ideologies. I couldn't accept any of those things. I couldn't be around too much of that because he was trying to shape me. And as he's trying to shape me, it'd be a shame to be taking in all this other stuff, especially like on social media. On social media, you got a lot of different opinions, a lot of different feelings, a lot of different spirits, a lot of noise coming from social media. Okay? So I had to turn all that off. Period. I had to take a step back from some people, even some family. I had to take a step back. I had to turn some things off. I had to focus. Another thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to, spend time with God. You're going to have to spend time with God. You're going to have to get in his presence. He's the one you should be asking what my purpose is, what your purpose is, what you should be doing, right? What your strengths are, what your gifts are. He's the one you should be asking those questions to, and he will answer you. Trust me. So you want to spend time with God. And when I say spend time with him, I don't mean just sitting on the couch or whatever, you know, saying a little bit and then moving on. I'm saying you're going to have to spend that time with him. You're going to have to get in his word. I cannot tell you, let me tell you, I was so hungry for him. I mean, I was watching sermons on my way to work, during the day at work. I couldn't even hardly work. Coming home from work, all day over the weekends. I mean, there were days I spent 8-9 hours that day just listening to the word, listening to the word, listening to the word, listening to the word, getting fed. God took me places. He showed me things. He gave me the truths. He showed me our history. He showed me so much. Okay. And so it's amazing because he takes, it was like every day was a, not necessarily a journey, but it was like there was something going on every single day. I didn't know what was going to happen. All I knew is I had to be open and let God just work, right? And so I spent a lot of time with him. I began to develop a relationship with him to the point where I started telling him everything. I mean, I started talking to him about everything. I knew that in my safe place, the place that I spend time with God, I could talk to him about anything. And that conversation was protected. That conversation was between me and him. No one could get in the middle of that conversation. And I didn't have to worry about the devil coming against me because I was having that conversation. Because what I was doing was I was pouring my heart out to him. I was giving up my baggage to him. I was giving it over to him. I was handing it all to him because it was too heavy and I didn't want to hold it anymore. Okay, so I spent a lot of time with him. That's what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to spend that time. You're gonna have to ask yourself, what's more important? Is finding out my purpose, living out my destiny, walking that life, that beautiful life that God has for me. What's more important? Is that more important? Is my relationship with God more important? Or is social media more important? Is finding out the next bit of gossip more important? Is finding out, what's going on the housewives shows, or they got all kinds of them, the ballers shows, or whatever, the reality shows, Kardashians, whatever, all those different shows, right? What's more important? Me spending time with God, finding out his word, finding out his ways, learning about his character, learning about who I am, learning about what his general will is for the body of Christ, and then again learning about what his goal and his purpose is for my life. What's more important? So you're going to have to make a decision. And quite frankly, honestly, it just doesn't seem that hard to me. But I do understand how it could be hard for some people, okay? Because change is hard. Change is not an easy thing to do. So it's one of those things where it's just, you really got to make a decision. You really got to say, do I want to be the best person that I can be? Do I want to be that person that I can't see yet? That beautiful person, that successful person, that person that is blessing people, that person that is rolling with Christ's heart. Like, do I want to be that person? Do I want to know what she looks like? What does she even look like? Because let me tell you, that person doesn't look like you today. If you're in the wilderness, that person does not look like you. I think I've shown pictures, and if you haven't seen it, I'll show you, and it's fine, but let me tell you, I was a totally different person. I even looked totally different, okay? You could tell life was on me and had come up out in me and all kinds of things, right? I mean, I was holding on to all my baggage, and now my body was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, okay? So again, and like I say, just spending that time with him, you have to make a decision. It's as simple as that. You can't have both. You cannot continue to be the old you and then try to grab the new you. You have to let the old you go. You have to be willing to do that. You have to be willing to let that go and walk with him so he can show you, so he can get you there. Because trust me, he does not want you to die in the wilderness. He wants you there because there are people that are counting on you. There are people who need you. There are people who are going to be influenced by you, who need your gifts, who need what's in you that only you know how to do. There's people that need that. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to get up there and God's like, look, I gave you talents. And I know, and this is in the Bible as well. And I'm just saying, I don't want to be that person that had the one talent and then buried it. Didn't even do anything with his talents. Like, he only had one. All he had to do was multiply it. But he buried it. Talking about, I know you get funds from other places. You get all what you need from other places. So I thought maybe this wouldn't be a big deal because you get stuff from everybody else. No, fam. He gave you a talent. He gave you something to work with. And he expects you to be fruitful and produce and multiply. Period. Okay? So I just don't want to be that person. So again, spend time with him. Number 3, be patient. You have to be patient with God. You cannot rush him. First of all, you cannot rush your growth. You cannot rush your preparation period. You have to be patient during that period because God knows everything that's tucked down deep in your heart that you have no idea is there. Okay? So he's trying to get all of that out of there. You don't know how long that's going to take. But I know one thing. It'll take you less time if you just do the things that I'm telling you to do. That's what I can say. So be patient. Be patient with him. Be patient with yourself. Be kind and gentle to yourself. Take this time for yourself because you know it's necessary. You know it's needed. And you know you're tired of hanging on to that baggage. You know you are tired of hanging on to the past. You know you are tired of the resentment, the anger, the fear, the doubt, the envy, the jealousy, all these things that are inside of you, and they're preventing you from even being able to live life. Like you're bound by all these different things because of the way you lived. Okay, so don't you want to let it go? Don't you want to just be free from all that? Don't you want to like soar, like fly so far above that kind of place that you're in right now to the point where if somebody even talked about you, you wouldn't even hear it because you flying all the way up here and you too focused, right? So be kind to yourself, be gentle to yourself, be patient with yourself and be patient with God and let him work. Let him work on you, okay? Be teachable. Number 4 is be teachable. Don't get in your own way. We can do that. He's trying to get you to move this way and you're so stuck on moving that way, right? I have so many different examples, but he's trying to teach you. He needs you to be moldable, bendable. Look at yourself as like just a pile of clay that needs to be shaped. Right? So you don't want to already be formed and hard and dry and he can't work with you. So get yourself to a point where let your ego go. Just kind of breathe it out. Let it go and let him shape you and form you the way that he needs to do it. And so you just be teachable in that way. If he's telling you to move in a different direction, if he's telling you to call someone up and apologize, if he's telling you to tell someone you love them, if he's telling you to do anything, whatever it is, you have to do it. You have to do it. As you begin to spend time with him, you're going to understand what it is that he expects from you, okay? You're going to start to understand that. And so you're also going to have to understand that you're going to need to walk it out. You're going to have to receive all that he's saying to you, and then you're going to have to be a doer of his word. You're going to have to start walking it out. You're going to have to start changing your life. It's just things that you're just going to have to start doing. You're going to have to grow up, pretty much. You're going to have to grow up. You can't stay a kid forever. You can't stay a baby spiritual. You could. Then you just be dying in the desert. You don't want to stay a baby spiritually. You just don't want to do that. Like your physical body is growing up, but God wants to grow you up, okay? Your spirit. All right. So be teachable. And then lastly, be still. Now, this is, to me, I think the patience part and the be still part. Okay. Because it's like, these are so important because it's like you just want to move. You just want something to happen, anything to happen, like something. You're tired of being stuck, right? But if you're not patient, you will jump ahead. If you're not patient, if you don't be still, you'll start doing things that will prolong your wilderness period. You'll start to walk into other things. And let me explain something to you. The devil is right there waiting for you to step outside of the flow of God so he can walk you right into a trap. Okay? So for example, if God's telling you, I want you single and celibate, just don't date, just be still, right? You have to do that. Or you can find yourself in a situation where because you were impatient and because you didn't listen to God and be still, now you've walked into a trap. And in that trap, you've either gotten pregnant, you've gotten diseased, or let's say you got into a marriage that is not of God. And so you got trapped, right? You don't want to get trapped. Just listen to God when he tells you something, right? So just do it, okay? And just be still. Because if you don't have any clear direction, the last thing that you want to do is just start making moves, okay? Don't do that. Don't do that. You're just going to make it hard on yourself. Just be patient and be still, okay? All right, so those are the 5 points I just wanted to make in terms of how to get back in alignment with God's will. And so I hope this blessed you. I pray that this blessed you. I just want you to understand before I leave this message that you have no idea what God has planned for you. It's so good. And it's just for you. It's just for you. It's something that you want. It's something that you're going to want. It's something that you're going to desire. It's such a place that's so big that you can't even imagine. But the thing is God wants people who are going to walk it out with him, who are going to demonstrate for him what it means to walk with him, what it means to have a relationship with him, what it means to live a godly life, to be set apart. He wants people that are going to be willing and bold to walk it out with him and then be good demonstrations for him, right? So trust me when I say he wants good things for you. He wants nothing but the best for you. Nothing but the best and nothing else. Don't let anybody tell you anything else, because trust me, there are a lot of people out there who will try to discourage you and tell you something else, okay? But trust me, he wants the absolute best for you. He has such a big plan for you, and he loves you. He loves you. He just wants you to come. Revelations 3:20 says, here I am, and this is Jesus talking. Here I am. I stand at the door and knock. He says, if anyone can hear my voice and open the door, I will come in and eat with him and him with me, right? So God is standing at the door knocking, okay? And it's not like he's not trying to bang your door down. He's not trying to overwhelm you or he's not trying to hurt you or anything like that. He's just at that door knocking. And so what happens is we drift off. We end up drifting off, and we end up going our own separate ways. And, we end up departing from God. And he's still at that door. He's so patient, and he's so kind, and he's so loving. He's still at that door waiting for you. Just waiting for you to open so that he can come in and he can eat with you and you with him. And what does that mean? That means, think about it. He comes in, he eats with you, and you start to get to know him. You start to understand who he is, his character. You begin to trust him. He begins to trust you. You begin to learn more about yourself. You begin to be open. You develop a relationship. You know what I mean? And you learn a lot. You gain wisdom, understanding, revelation, all kinds of things when you let God come in and eat with you and you with him. Okay? So that's all I have. I pray that this helped you. I pray that, you find your way. I pray that you follow these principles so that you can get out of the wilderness. I pray that you find your purpose. I pray that you get to that place where you are blessed in everything that you do, that all that you do is blessed, that the work of your hands, the fruit of your labor is blessed. I pray that you are blessed coming in and blessed coming out. I pray that you become a blessing to all those that God has assigned to be blessed through you. I pray that you open yourself up and allow God to love on you. Allow Allow him to flow through you. Allow him to carry you along. Allow him to take your burdens. Allow him to love on you, okay? I pray that you're open. I pray that you receive this message, and I pray that it blesses you. And I pray that you have a great rest of your day. And I will post another video, I believe, at some point. I just don't know what I'm going to post it about. If you have any suggestions, let me know. Just drop it in the comments. All right.